the river still has its attractions, especially for kids looking for a spot to cool off. Like this pool, where teenagers jump from the cliff into roughly 15 feet of water. It's all in a day's fun, but last night was another story. The RNC say a group of young people was swimming here around 11:30 last night, when one of them, 24-year-old Fred Gamberg of St. John's, went missing. Divers recovered his body at around 5:30 this morning. This is the second time there's been a serious accident at this swimming hole. 5 years ago, a young man broke both legs when he slipped jumping into the pool. But even last night's tragedy isn't enough to scare off the experienced jumpers.
Because we're used to it and we know what we're doing, and they were down here in the night time, jumping around.
These kids say people who aren't familiar with the river shouldn't be there, especially at night.
It's alright if you knows what you're at.
Yeah.
And you just get familiar with the place. Because people come down around town, like, or tourists comes down and he tries to be a little bit gutsy. And like, you know, end up hurting herself.
For CBC News, I'm Russell Wongerski in Flat Rock.
Meanwhile, police have released the names of 2 other people who drowned on Friday afternoon. 10-year-old Loman Knoll and his 34-year-old uncle Bill Marr were fishing on Long Pond near the community of Bellburns. Police say the boy slipped from the rocks and fell into a strong current. His uncle jumped in and tried to save him, and both were swept away. There isn't much support for a plan to cut spending on home support services. The government plans to put a funding limit on services provided to seniors in their homes. The health minister says it's an effort to bring spending under control. Del Simon reports.
I've had polio since I was 3 years old. And now I'm 81, so...
Along with polio, Bridie Walsh has several other medical problems. She lives on her own in Renews, but it's difficult to cope without help.
I wouldn't be able to manage without the service I have.
This support worker helps Walsh manage. She's one of 3 assistants who stay with the elderly woman for 12 hours every day to help her with everything, from getting about to preparing a meal. The Newfoundland government is scrutinizing the way it spends its healthcare dollars. One area targeted is the program that offers support services to seniors in their homes. The government wants to put a monthly limit on that service for some.
We think that we can deliver an appropriate level of service for the amount of $2,100 and still not cause a negative impact upon the health or care of the people that receive that service.
Talk like this scares Walsh. She thinks her monthly supports cost more than $2,100.
Worrying in case I'd be one of the ones would be cut back. And what would I do? How would I manage?
The people who run the senior centre in St. John's also have concerns.
If you're going to imagine any cuts to this current level of service, it's obvious there's going to be people who are not able to cope.
The Tory health critic isn't impressed with the plan either.
And capping it is going to force people back into institutions, you know, directly opposite to the direction the government wishes to move.
The health minister says his department will reassess how the service is being used to determine where limits will be placed. But he says one thing is for sure. The government can no longer continue pumping endless amounts of dollars into the support system without placing any limits on it. Del Simon, CBC News, St. John's.
Crews were still watering down hot spots today from that weekend blaze at Topsail Pond and Three Island Pond. Friday night, the fire forced 200 people to leave their homes. High winds at the time made it difficult to fight the flames. The Forestry Department says the ground crews could be continuing their work for several weeks if there isn't heavy rain to dampen smoldering embers.